TSLA stock price is in a very big spot. We have seen multiple reversions to a very strong area value, being a very obvious ascending trend line. We've seen a very similar setup over the course of the last few months with very obvious locations. This has led to a very positive momentum for the bulls. Are they going to get that long-term ascending trend line breakout to the upside, or a premature one within a short term? With that being said, my name is Dylan from Dylan's Trades. I think there's a lot of bullish upside for Tesla right now with little to no downside. So with that being said, let's get straight into this technical. Now let's break down, first going over to the weekly. So as always, we start off on the weekly, and from a more grand perspective, we do have a very long-term bull flag, a very sharp movement up, which did last from 2020 to around middle of 2021, pulling back to a very beautiful pennant structure and then a breakout. And we have retested that from these lows around $200. If you guys followed the updates, we were very bullish on Tesla here, saying this is a very good buy low opportunity. Go back to the past videos, guys. Okay, we were very bullish within this past pocket, retesting back within this phase, expecting that upside, and we sure got it. Since then, the bulls have marched their way up with a lot of presence, setting a lot of beautiful higher lows, and this is a very phenomenal setup. As in the past, when we got that surge up to these $400 levels and we seen that big drop off, it was just a quick 8-week surge. You know, this is a little bit unsustainable. Okay, this is a very big breakout, very fast, a little bit too much too soon. And now we're seeing very sustained momentum building, pop, momentum building. And now is the question from a more grand perspective, when is this momentum going to end in pop? As it more is likely to do that, as we have seen this successful retest within a long-term phase and what have you. Okay, so I do believe that these multiple stages of, consolidation is really all you need to focus on. Okay, there's one pop into two, pull back into another. We've seen a premature pop into another consolidation. And then once again, very basic TA here. And I do think the overall market is strong enough where within the next 1 or 2 weeks, we might see a very strong green candle press towards the top of this range and get a test. As once again, if we see the upside over this range, that's when you're looking at a more long-term price target of $550, $600, even $700 if you're a little bit more long-term and holding. Okay, there's a lot of upside here to be had. It's just, can we get over this pocket consolidation? Okay, in the past, we had a pretty much mirrored image, identical setup, and it did end up confirming to the lower with a very negative wide bar. Okay, then that did collapse stock price. So the question is, right now we're in the same spot. Are we going to break over the top or break below the bottom? I do think we're going to break above the top, as the overall market is a lot more healthy right now, and this is a lot more sustained of a push up. Overall, very solid look for the bulls. Expect upside back towards the top of this range over the course of the next few days and or weeks, located at 467 to 470. Okay, that does make a lot of sense to get back within that area within the next 2 weeks. Within the next long term, okay, we do lean towards that 550 test, but we will see what happens and if we can get over that big resistance of this 470, of this 467. Alrighty, so now we're on the daily. This is a very good perspective within the medium term things. And we see stock price obviously setting up for that ascending triangle as setup, right? You're squeezing out at even highs around this 470. Once again, 467 to that 470 location. We're squeezing out to this, setting higher lows. This is a pretty bullish pattern in nature as you're still marching your way up higher. So there definitely is a potential within a long term where you see Tesla build here. Okay, from these 430s to 470s for a few months, right? Get this more long-term build and then a breakout come into first few months of 2026, or we see a rise towards the top. But nonetheless, there is a lot of data with this pretty beautiful bounce here, guys, at this very heavy confluence area that we shouldn't see stock price base here too much longer as the overall market, right? If we jump over there for a second, QQQ, very strong reversal sign and a very beautiful ascending channel. Okay, look at IWM, very strong bull sign. Okay, it does look like the overall market had a lot of fear, but it's going to end. Okay, so zooming back to Tesla, coming back to this core support, it is no different. Okay, we have seen a little bit of a pullback, but not that much. Okay, it's been a pretty shallow pullback, and we're still marching, setting these higher lows. So if you were a long-term investor, you do definitely do not sell. I'm not a financial advisor. Do what you want with your money, guys. But this is a no-brainer hold or a buy. You do not want to sell Tesla stock right now. I do not believe this would be wise. Okay, there is some big resistance within more short-term things. And maybe perhaps we do build to that level and reject and come a little bit lower and then base for a few more weeks and then long-term breakout. But I think that's worst case scenario. Very low probability we see Tesla break this long-term consolidation we're just now building and push lower to 350. I do not think you're going to see a retest to that. Within the past, you had some big drop-offs because of the Trump news and the Elon, and there always is that X factor with the news. Okay, Tesla is very volatile, but outside of that, something crazy happening. You have to love where we're at for the bulls to continue to march their way up higher, likely impulsively squeezing to this high very quickly within the next week. We're now in the hourly analysis, guys. This gives a great perspective within the very short term. We got some very good data from the weekly and the daily. Very decisive spot here. Okay, very easy to predict Tesla in this location. You've seen some pretty heavy defense with 4-hour candles showing strong wicks. Initially was a strong gap down, but the nice sign to start the morning was a very strong 1-hour defense. You did creep a little bit lower here than seeing that nice sign. Morningstar reversal-esque, pulling a little bit lower to end the day, but once again, you have to love where we're at for the overall market. You know that will give Tesla some strength coming in the next few days. Coming in the next trading day. So that should give the momentum to, boom, get a quick spike, lead to 444, maybe consolidate here for some time as 444 is a very big level, and then get that push to 467 and 470. The question is, what is going to happen when Tesla gets to that location? That is a very good question. As of right now, I do believe that upside is in store for a more long-term breakup. Got to keep in mind, within the short term of things, the overall market does appear to find that base, right? This very strong hammer candle at the bottom of this long-term ascending channel that has been basing the overall market getting a very nice flow. When you threaten a big level like this and then break down a little bit and then creep right over the top, that is called a bear trap, and it is very hard to make money with the overall market going down. This does appear to have a lot of potential. So when you look at a stock like Tesla, you know, there's a very, very good argument that you could be targeting these levels such as $500, $550 levels. But as of right now, we're just going to focus on what's in front of us. Expect a test back to 467, 470. If you guys are interested in more of these kind of updates, we'll continue to update Tesla about 1 or 2 times per week. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for making this point of the video. I really appreciate you all watching the video. Have a good day, guys. Take care and peace.